Saturday.
Hey, and a silly Saturday it is.
Yes. So we welcome to the special edition of the Teacher Project 2.0. Now listen, I am streaming on Really Be TV, but it is on members only. So if you want to join the conversation, come on over to the Teacher Project 2.0. The link is the link is pinned at the top of the chat. So if you are not a member on Really Be TV, don't worry. You don't have to join the membership. Just come on over to the Teacher Project 2.0 and join the conversation. We will drop the link once El Teddy and I are done with our commentary because we are interested in hearing what you guys have to say, whether you agree or disagree with us. Okay? How you doing today, Doc?
Well, it's a busy weekend for me. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out
Yes,
there.
happy Mother's Day.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of my
Yes, we are
professional
winding down.
educators out there.
Yes,
And yeah, happy all of the things to all happy birthday to all of the Tauruses out there. All of the things to all of the people. Happy, joy, joy. Happy, joy.
yes, and we do want to extend a special happy Teacher Appreciation Week to everyone, to all of the educators. Excuse me. If you guys want to tip the teachers, our cash apps are posted. If you want to tip the teachers,
Mm-hmm.
y'all already know that your donations are not required, but they are appreciated. Okay, all right. So let's really get into the thing. So listen, El Teddy and I have been busy the last couple of weeks. Life has been life, and y'all know the end of the year for me, I have graduation and all the things where I'm working late a lot of days. El Teddy travels a lot, and sometimes it overlaps, and just life has been life. And so we haven't done a regular teacher project in a couple of weeks. But this story came up, it has gone viral. Everybody has something to say. And so we decided we were going to come down here and we were going to talk about it. So the first thing we're going to do is play the viral video that most of you guys are familiar with. I'm going to let it play all the way through the first time. And then El Teddy and I are going to give our commentary and our opinions. And again, feel free to join the conversation, even if you don't necessarily agree with us. The thumbnail says unpopular opinion. So whatever opinion that might be. You don't have to sit there making that face, sir.
What face?
Because you are ready. You are making the I'm ready
I'm
for this
not
face.
making anything.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
just
Yes, you are.
waiting.
You're making the I'm ready for this face.
I'm just gearing up for Silly Saturday later. Shameless plug, Saturday at 8 o'clock tonight.
And listen, you guys don't have to go anywhere because I have connected the chats. So once we are done here at about 7:58, 9-ish, you guys will automatically, you don't have to do anything. You just go zip. We're going to get zapped right on over there and join the conversation over there. Okay. So here's the teacher. Now listen, I didn't want to necessarily show these students' faces. However, they done already been viral, so it ain't nothing I can do about that. Okay.
Pretty much.
Right. I'm gonna play the video, and again, this is not the original video. This is him explaining what was going on in this video. So I'm gonna let you guys hear what he has to say. Okay.
My students.
Oh, it's kind of low.
There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong.
Hold on, let me get the speaker because I think it's kind of low. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me turn the speaker on, honey, because I can't adjust the volume on the voiceover. Lord, let me go back to the beginning. All right.
I needed my hair taken out beforehand.
Why is it so
I
low?
taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video, and I was one of the ones being interviewed, so I had to look presentable. So I didn't take my hair out.
Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. I'm mad he said so naturally I asked. Like, can we start with the naturally I asked part? Hold on. El Teddy, can you hear it at all?
I can hear it, but it's very faint.
Okay, I'm gonna start it over. I'm trying to connect the speaker. For whatever reason, it doesn't sound like the speaker connected. But once the speaker connects, hold on. Why the speaker ain't connecting? Connect. Maybe if let me play it from my phone. Let me play. It's connected. Let me play it from my phone. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulty, but let me play it from my phone because for whatever reason, it's not doing what it needs to be doing. Mama said there be days like this.
Let's go ahead and stir the pot a
Okay,
little, shall we? Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing, and people were just making it weird. So, of course, I had to bring this issue to the big stage. I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school, and I needed my hair taken out beforehand. I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video, and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So I had to look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever. So naturally, I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me in taking my hair out, and they all agreed. Number two, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM field projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out. A couple of these were students from my class, but others were students from other classes. I would all of them a pass at the beginning of the class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior. They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal, they showed up for their job. My next point I'd like to make is if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, oh, this is weird, this is inappropriate. Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, oh, that's too intimate. To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird. Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows. I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher. I make sure my students know and can feel that I care about them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them do. I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because caring for the whole child is what's important. Some of these students have been with me since I was a substitute 4 years ago. They see me as a big brother or a father figure, as some of them say. And me, I don't want kids of my own, so all of these kids are literally my children. And in case you're wondering about their parents, most of them follow me on social media and always talk about my videos with their kids. They always tell me that they're so grateful that their kids have someone like me in their life. In my admin, they're well aware of my social media presence and they love my videos. To me, this is just another wholesome moment that I'm having with my kids that I was fortunate enough to catch on film. Since I'm a science teacher, one thing that I teach my students about is symbiosis. Symbiosis deals with the relationships between organisms. The type of relationship that I like to foster in my class is mutualism, or mutualistic relationship, which means both organisms benefit from the exchange. So when my students have good behavior, complete all their assignments, and do everything that a scholar is supposed to do, I reward them with downtime and just time to just be a kid, be on their phones, play games, gossip, so on and so forth. My students and I work hard and we play harder. I'm fortunate enough to have students that feel safe and comfortable around me, safe to come to me with their problems, their frustrations. They come to me seeking guidance and wisdom, or come to me simply to chill and hang out because they know that they have a safe space to be themselves around me. What I strive to do as an educator is be the teacher I wish I had grown up. I strive to be the teacher that makes my inner child happy, someone that my inner child would be proud of. I want to be the teacher that my students reflect back on 20, 30 years down the line and think like, dang, that teacher I had in middle school, he was the shit. No further questions, Your Honor. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. You think this was inappropriate or people are making something out of nothing? And although you are entitled to your opinion, all I ask is that you be respectful. Thank you. Let's go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we?
Okay, so we're gonna pause it.
Really, but you notice how he started off by saying, "Let's go ahead and stir the pot." You started off wrong, sir. I'm gonna let you go. I just wanted to
Well,
notate
first
that.
of all, it's
That's the first time I heard that part where he said started off by saying, "Let's start off by stirring the pot." So when you start off by saying, "Let's start off by stirring the pot," yeah, it's about to get messy.
first of all, it's the sad music playing in the background for me. It's the music. Okay. So I've been reading your comments as the video's been playing. Most of you, and I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. Most of you guys are saying you feel like this is appropriate and unprofessional. A few are saying not a big deal. So here's what I want to go through piece by piece and explain my opinion. And then of course El Teddy is going to give his commentary if you weren't over on his channel when he gave his commentary before. And then when it's over, you guys were going to drop the link for people to come up and share their thoughts, because overall, this was, in my opinion, this was unprofessional and inappropriate, but not for the reasons that a lot of people are holding on to. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, and unfortunately, it's Instagram, so I can't stop and start it like I want to. But I'm gonna let it play, and I'm gonna try to stop and start it as I can. Now, the rumor is that he was fired. Now, I will say this: I do not think he needed to be fired based on just this video, but there may be more information that we don't know about. Also, I was trying to find the school where he worked at, because it said he was in this area, in my area, and I was trying to find the name of the school. They said it was a middle school. I would have known if it was a charter, because I'm thinking it was probably a charter school.
Freeze?
Did you freeze or did I freeze?
I don't know if I froze or you froze. Somebody froze. It was still going down at the bottom. The crawl was still going, but I don't know if I froze. The last thing I heard was you said it said he worked that, and then it froze.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if it was me or you, because I was still talking, child. They said, I read somewhere where it said he got fired. He came down and said he got fired. Now, I suspect he was at a charter school, because like we tell you guys on the Teacher Project 2.0, if he worked for DC, because they said he was a DC teacher. If he worked for DC public schools, he wouldn't be fired, because that would have to go through the union. He might be out on leave. He may be out on leave,
administrative assignment or something like that.
Right. But he would not have been fired. If he were working for a charter school, as you guys know, charter schools most of them are year-by-year contracts. Most of them do not have a union. So yes, they can find, and most of them have a morality clause that they can use as sort of the catch-all that they can use. And yes, they could have walked him out on Friday morning, right? But again, I could not find. So if anybody finds it, let me know. But I was looking around, I could not find the name of the school where he worked. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this video, because listen, almost from the very beginning, he was out of pocket. That's my opinion. So
way out of order.
All right, so let's start over. Okay, hold
on. Pod a little, shall we? Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to lie.
So first of all, sorry. First of all,
ma'am.
Shut up.
Ma'am. What do you got going on over there? God.
First of all, you tried to throw out there that it was 10 minutes before dismissal to try and lessen the fact that this was during class time. Oh, it was the last 10 minutes of class. It's no big deal. That's how I took that. El Teddy?
My problem is you are filming during instructional time, during work hours, during instructional time.
He said he was streaming
and went live. That means you were literally streaming. Even if there was nothing inappropriate, even if none of this happened, that's enough right there for you to have to go sit in somebody's office and have a conversation, because you are in the school. You are, and I don't know if all of those students had the forms, the media release forms, all of those things. There's so many things here. And then professional duties and responsibilities says that you're supposed to be teaching from bell to bell. Now, I'm
Isabel.
not saying that that happens, you know, 100% of the time. I'm not saying that
It
you don't
gotta
give teachers some time, but what I'm saying is by you live streaming this, you've opened the door to just right there. If even if it had nothing to do with the hair, you opened the door to so many violations of your professional duties and responsibilities right then and there.
Right. So just before we, because again, like I said, my unpopular opinion is going to be that I think it's inappropriate, but probably not for the reasons that a lot of people have been saying. So looking at this, I told you guys that I have been an administrator. I have been on both sides of this coin. I have my administrator's license. So I see things through the lens of an administrator and also through the lens of a teacher. If I were an administrator walking down the hall and I looked in that man's room and saw that he was streaming live on TikTok, right? And while he was streaming, he was getting his hair done during instructional time.
Yeah,
It
you
has
way out of
nothing
pocket.
to do with whether he's a man or whether he was a woman. Because if it were a female teacher, my opinion would be the same. Now we're gonna get into the roles
The
of a
other
male.
part,
We're
really
gonna
be
get into
just real quick, really be the
that.
other part is that what some people don't understand by that, which is why I get so sometimes incensed when people film from inside of their classroom. The reason that I say that is because you have to go through a lot of different levels in order to get video approved in school. So you have on a school polo, you are inside of a school
Yes,
classroom, and then if something like what happened with this happens and it goes viral for the negative for the wrong reasons, negative, now the school is now liable. And if a parent feels any kind of way, that school and that young man can be, you know, this is a litigious society. They can sue the school, they can sue the school to sue the school board, and they can sue him because you are doing things outside of the scope of what should be done inside of the classroom. And that has nothing to do. I ain't even got to the hair part. I ain't even
right.
got to the hair part.
Right. Exactly. Melly, I would love when we drop the link, I would love for you to come up because I know you are an educator and I know you're an educator in this area. And you just said that you just also said that you have a lens as an administrator and as a mother. So I would definitely. Oh, he works at Maya Angelou French Immersion. Oh, yeah, first of all, that's a charter school. So absolutely he could be fired without a whole lot of because that's a charter school. That is a charter school. And I think that's a charter school in Prince George's County. I think. I think I interviewed at that school at one time in my life. I think, but I know I was like, I can't speak French. I don't know why y'all even sent me here for this interview. Anyway, another conversation. And the kids were in uniform, right, Melly? So that adds another layer. That adds another layer that the kids were in uniform also. So, we're gonna. Okay, so let me finish. Let me finish this. Oh shoot.
Stream my students helping me take my hair out.
See, I
There
don't
was
know how to.
quite the
I don't want to
discourse
keep
in the
stopping.
chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing, and people were just making it weird. So, of course, I had to bring this issue to the big stage.
Sorry,
I would
y'all.
like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school, and I needed my hair taken out beforehand.
So that's a you problem. That's a you problem. You again, you say, let me put this in context as if that's supposed to change my opinion. You having a hair appointment after school, that is a you problem.
Pretty much.
Do you know how many times I have had to just throw my hair up in a ponytail? So, because I have a hair appointment after school. So again, if we want to play gender roles, how many women, put a one in the chat, how many of my women, my ladies, my females have had a hair appointment directly after work and you just had to like throw it in a ponytail because it was you ain't had no more time. Woo.
Can I add a layer to this, really being? The layer that I'm going to add to this
I
is
can fix the video. What that means, fix the video.
um the layer that I'm going to add to this is the fact that teachers, we are out here fighting for professional educators to be taken more seriously, for there to be raises in salaries, and for them to be respected for the professionals that they are. And I say that because on any work location, they don't give a damn about you having to get your hair done. You are not letting somebody do your hair when you are at work working on these people's job. I don't care where you at, unless you work in a beauty salon. And probably not even there, because you have need to be doing the hair of the people who are patronizing your business. The other thing is, once again, how many of you all can go to work and while you're doing your job, you could just start live streaming everything you got going on at your job on your TikTok without having to go see somebody in HR?
His girl students. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to, because I don't know how on Instagram to stop it. So I know on TikTok I can stop
There's
it.
a way really be and it's probably too that I probably should have did it, but there's a way where you can get the link of it and then download it and get the video downloaded. There's, you know how you could do the Instagram video.
I emailed it to myself. I downloaded it. Oh, you know what? Thank you. No,
You're the online Instagram video downloaders.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I'm sorry. I apologize, because
I'll talk while you're doing that. I'll talk amongst the people.
I'm sure you will.
But that's the point. Even if you notice, I'm not even going to. I'm not going to bring up the whole part about this being any way, shape, form, or fashion, intimate, sexual, anything like that, because it's none of this such. None of this such.
I'm not making
but what I will speak to, that I can speak to, you're a male teacher. Like it or don't like it, there are things that male teachers cannot do that female teachers can do. That's just the reality of teaching. I'm sorry. You can feel however you want to feel. It may not be fair. It may not be equitable. You may feel like that's wrong. Sir, you are a male teacher, and every male teacher knows when they walk into that door from day one, you don't play around with the female students. You don't get caught in the halls by yourself with them. You don't even get caught in the stairwell with them. Anytime you have a young lady in a classroom with you, you better either have another student in there with you, or a male student in there with you, another teacher in there with you, the door open, and all types of other things. You don't play them games. I don't care how, innocuous or benign it is. You do not play those kind of games, because you don't want to get caught up in the sauce.
Okay, I'm ready now, y'all. I got it. I downloaded it. My bad. Okay. So let's get back to where we left off, child.
It's helping me take my hair out. There was quite the Discord emotional video, and I was one of the 100 best friends to assist me in taking my hair out.
So let's go back to that. So first of all, you trying to throw it out there that, it was the last 10 minutes of class, like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, because it's still instructional time. You are still on the clock. You are still at work. And I'm sorry. Second of all, he said, hold on, I might have went too far. Hold on, because I don't want to miss nothing, because it's a lot.
Beforehand, I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot up.
And then again, I feel like you were trying to flex a little bit. We had a camera crew coming in, and I was being interviewed, so I had to be appropriate.
Really be. All of my best friends can go to the bar with me and buy a round. I never want a student to be. He just said it. He did say that. He just said 100 best friends. You just missed it. That's why the chat was. I just saw it in the chat because he just commented on that.
So I had to look presentable. So I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself, because it would have taken me forever. So naturally, I asked about.
So naturally,
4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to.
See, I knew I think I got there, but then I rewound it. Sir, excuse me. Hello, sir. These are not your best friends.
They're not.
These kids, they're kids. They're not your best friends. I'm sorry. They're not your best friends.
Not.
And
I want to negate this whole, because he went on this tirade about developing relationships as if that's how you have to do that in order to develop a relationship with students. You can have clear boundaries and clear borders and
Yeah,
have beautiful and wonderful relationships with your students, but
absolutely.
have clear boundaries.
Absolutely. El Teddy and myself have told you guys numerous times how we are still very much in touch with former students. They are part of our life. They, uh, I've been to weddings, I've been to baby showers. I've had parents that I've had personal conversations with, things going on. You can build relationships and still have boundaries. And I have a really Ebby, he clearly doesn't have boundaries. I'm sorry. Now, me and you gonna disagree on this because you done already said you don't see nothing wrong with it, and that's fine. But clearly, he does not have boundaries, or his boundaries are inappropriate. How about that? Because the fact that you don't see nothing wrong with this man sitting in his classroom with these 4 or 5 girls taking his hair out in the middle of
Yeah.
school, that's a boundary that he don't have. He don't have boundaries.
And on his professionally as an educator, this is cross boundaries. There's no pedagogy, there's nowhere in education anywhere in this country where this would be okay and not have crossed boundaries. There's nowhere. There's no classroom, there's no school, there's no anywhere where this has a cross boundaries. So there is an issue clearly with boundaries, because this is not something that a professional educator should be doing with the student at all.
See, this
Never.
is
There's
part of my
never a
problem.
circumstance where
And
that
this is
happens.
part of my problem. And it's stuff like this that makes me feel like, you know what? Maybe it is time for me to leave. I'm the dinosaur. I'm the old lady, the old man saying, get off my lawn. Because I don't understand what people don't see. I don't understand why people, and I'm not talking to just Ebby, y'all. I don't want nobody to think, I'm talking to everybody. I don't understand why people don't see the problems in this. I'm sorry. I don't. This is clear to me. This is black and white to me.
Yeah.
And the
This is
fact that we keep lowering the standard and we keep blurring the lines between adult and child is part of the reason why we are in the situation we're in now, where these kids don't respect adults. They talk crazy to adults. They treat adults any kind of way, and we keep blurring the lines,
that's right.
and we
It's
keep
just
making excuses for it. I'm sorry.
and one of the examples that I gave about how this is a boundary that you should not cross. It's just like, even if he were working in on a regular business or in some business sector, you know, managers do not fraternize with their subordinates. Even if y'all on a company trip, you know what managers do? They'll say, "Oh, y'all going to the bar? I'll pay for the first round, but I'm gonna check out. This is where I'm gonna go back to the
Exactly.
hotel and I'm gonna
Exactly.
let y'all have it," because you don't want to blur those lines, because there are boundaries that are there that you absolutely should set. And likewise, and that's with adults, definitely even more so when you have children, not even high school students. We're talking middle school students. Way over the line. Way too
Right.
comfortable. Way too comfortable.
Right. Okay.
Assist me in taking my hair out, and they all agreed. Number two, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out. A couple of these were students from my class, but
My team, my team would help me take my hair out. Now,
So that
listen,
means that this is not the first time.
that's what it sounds like. Now, let me say this. I'm not even tripping over him saying that he told the kids, if we can get through this and we have a good presentation and y'all can get 10 minutes of free time. We've all done that. I ain't about to sit here
Yeah,
and trip over that.
that's not a big
We've
deal.
all done we've all done the reward of free time. If y'all can do what the hell y'all supposed to do. Okay, we have all done it. But again, I'm sorry. And then the next part is a problem as well. And I know, because I know the type of teacher that El Teddy was,
Oh
I
yeah.
already know that I
Oh
already
yeah.
know the next thing he can say is gonna be a problem.
others were students from other classes.
Just
Although I
stop right
wasn't
there. That's it.
in
That's all I need. You can stop right there. You can stop right there. Sir, sir. Why in everything that is holy are you bringing my kids from down the hall into your foolishness. Why, God, God of mercy? And I guarantee you, those students did not tell that teacher, "Are we going over here to do Mister So and So's hair?" I promise you, that's not the message that was conveyed. Because I promise you, if you tell another teacher, "Oh, can you let me go? Can you send Lily and Riri over to my class so they can help me put take my hair out?" I promise you, every teacher I know would say, nah, bruh,
Right.
what you doing?"
Number one, as a teacher, let me tell you one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm not holding it to the it
Oh, I
sounded
think
muffled.
she's talking about me. I don't know if she's talking about me. Am I
If you
muffled?
said, am I holding the phone to the mic?
Oh,
I had it near the speaker. Maybe I have the microphone too close to the speaker. Okay. Let me tell you one of my biggest pet peeves as an educator. One of my biggest pet peeves is the so and so said, if we finish doing our work, can I come to their room?
no.
Absolutely not. And I am one of those teachers that will roll up on the other teacher and tell them, don't do that.
Yeah, don't be
Don't do that.
calling my. That's my time. You do that during
Don't
your
do that.
time.
Yeah.
Don't take my time. I don't have that
Now,
type of
if
time.
this is, I mean, if it's a situation where it's their case manager for something or the counselor, if it's something school related, but just because it's the end of class, can I go hang out with someone? What? Can what? No, what are you talking about? So the
And
fact that you brought in other teachers into this foolishness again is another problem.
because
So
now
now
you don't got that other teacher probably caught up in your
wrapped up.
foolishness.
Right. Because now you got a whole nother teacher and those students wrapped up in what you are doing. Mind you, again, let's not forget this whole thing is being streamed on social media in real time. Can you imagine getting a phone call from a friend of yours that said, "Hey girl, I see your daughter online. It's this dude that I follow on TikTok. He's so funny. I love his little teacher videos. But I see your daughter and she's taking his braids out.
And you
School
looking
ain't
like,
no
wait a minute, she
school
should be
ain't
in
no
class. My daughter in class.
right. Right. My daughter at school. What are you talking about? Okay, I'm gonna let it keep playing. I'm gonna let it keep playing.
Class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior.
And again, you're trying to justify. Well, I said only send them if their work was completed and they're on good behavior. And you know what, Melly? That's a good point too. We are in the middle of testing right now. We absolutely we are. Listen. I've been proctoring tests for 2 weeks.
They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal.
They all met the criteria based on what? Based on what conversation did you have with the other teacher in the other classroom? For all we know, them kids were cutting class. You don't based on
And
what information?
and did you tell the teacher what they would be doing when they got there?
That true.
They showed up for their job. My next point I'd like to make is if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, oh,
And I disagree. For me, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm gonna say for me, I would have a problem with this if this were a female. I saw somebody earlier say, "Why didn't anybody say anything when it was a female teacher?" I don't remember it going viral like this. I don't know, but if I saw it, I would say the same thing. My opinion
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
change. My
it would
opinion
not
wouldn't
change.
change.
And most female
weird.
teachers I know don't want nobody playing in their hair. The female teachers I know, baby, you're not gonna play in their hair, especially not no kids. They real
And let
particular
me.
about
And
their
can I
hair.
say something else? This is one of my class guidelines. I don't call them rules. I call them guidelines. This is one of my class guidelines. No personal grooming. My kids
Right.
can't put on makeup in the middle of class. The guys, the girls. I literally have kids trying to take their braids out because they have a hair appointment. Not in here. You not. You're not taking
Most
braids out of my
schools
class. No sir. No
most
ma'am.
schools have that as policies or standing guidelines within schools. No personal grooming, and you sure not grooming somebody else's hair because I don't know how clean your hands are. I don't know what
Right.
you got going on. I don't know if that child got hair you doing got lice or whatever. I don't know what y'all got going on. You could have sores in your. I don't know what's going on, and we cannot have that type of interpersonal
Right.
touching and stuff like that. A whole lot of stuff could go on.
I think that's what Debbie said that earlier in the video about sanitary. Abby said, I just saw a video yesterday of a female teacher doing the same thing. Well, I got the same problem. I mean, my
Yeah, we
opinion
got
is
the same problem.
because again, I'm telling you, for me, it's not about male or female. For
Yeah.
me, it's about this was unprofessional and this was not appropriate. That is me. So I'm gonna let it keep playing, y'all.
appropriate. Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, "Oh, that's too intimate." To me, it's literally just hair. It
Thank
doesn't
you.
have to be weird. Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows.
So again, now we're not cool teachers because we don't think this is cool. So we're not the cool teachers, El Teddy. We're not the cool kids.
Listen, I'm not trying to be the cool teacher. I'm trying to be the teacher that makes sure that you are provided with instructions. Whether
Absolutely.
or not you deem me cool, because see, we're not friends. So you thinking that I'm the cool teacher or not is of no, that's no, I don't care because I'm not your friend. I'm not trying to get your validation
To
whether or
me,
not I'm cool.
right. To me, this is the equivalent of when parents like, I want to be my kid's friend. I got a problem with that when they're kids. When they're adults, sure, be their best friend. I don't, but and I know I'm not a parent, so I'm gonna stay out of that.
And I want to say this too to the people that are talking about, well, if this were a female teacher. Let's be clear. I said this a little while earlier. I'm going to say there again. Fair or unfair, there are certainly different things that male teachers cannot do, cannot get away with at all. No questions asked. And that's just the way it is in teaching. I'm sorry. That is just the way it is. Fair or unfair, that is the environment that we have in teaching. And you know that coming in the door. So whether or not you say, oh, I saw a female teacher, not that has nothing to, and it's wrong for her. But please be clear. There are always going to be things that male teachers cannot do that a female teacher may be able to get away with.
Tracy said, "I'm the cool mom. Girl, go to hell."
I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher.
And I listen, that's the one thing that he has said that I don't disagree with. I think that building relationships is important. I think me and him just disagree on what that looks like. But let's go.
I make sure my students know and can feel that I care about them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them do. I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because caring for the whole child is what's important. Some of these students have been with me since I was a substitute 4 years ago. They see me as a big brother or a father figure, as some of them say. And me, I don't want kids of my own, so all of these kids are literally my children. And in case you're wondering about their
They're
parents,
not.
most of them
They're
follow
not.
me.
They're not your kids. I'm sorry. I sometimes that line gets blurred too. Parents have a role and teacher has a role. And sometimes when that line gets blurred, because see what's going to happen is if you want to blur that line, then you have to take on all of those duties and responsibility that goes along with being parent. And those are not lines, I promise you, that you want to take on fully as teacher. I promise you that you don't, especially not with 100+ kids or children. No, you don't want to do that.
Social media and always talk about my videos with their kids.
And again, just because the parents follow you on social media, again, that doesn't. Here's the thing: I've looked at some of his videos. Some of them are funny. Some of them are cute. Whatever, whatever, whatever. But that does not mean that this one was. That doesn't mean that this was a good decision. That's it.
And also, even something maybe when they first saw it wasn't a big deal for them, but now that it has gotten probably millions of views at this point, thousands and thousands and thousands of people scrutinizing their kids, watching their kids, saying how inappropriate this was. Some of them, they may have changed how they felt about it because they had no idea that their child would be subject to this amount of exposure and things like that. So feelings may have changed.
They always tell me that they're so grateful that their kids have someone like me in their life. In my admin, they're well aware of my social media presence and they love my videos. To me, this is just another wholesome moment that I'm having with my kids that I was fortunate enough to catch on film. Since I'm a science teacher, one thing that I teach my students about it.
And here's this one too. So now you're going to try to connect this to a science lesson and why this is. Sir, stop playing with me and stop playing with my
Yeah,
intelligence.
please stop
I'm
playing.
gonna let him break
You
it
gonna
down.
let him have it. Let him have it. Let him have that.
Symbiosis deals with the relationships between organisms. The type of relationship that I like to foster in my class is mutualism, or mutualistic relationship, which means both organisms benefit from the exchange. So
How
when
are
my
these
students
girls
have
benefiting from this? How? You
complete all
said
their
both
assignments,
benefit. How are they both benefiting? How are the young ladies benefiting? Please
And do
explain, sir.
everything that a scholar is supposed to do. I reward them with downtime and just time to just be a kid, be on their phones, play games, gossip, so on and so forth. My students and I work hard and we play harder.
This is okay. So I'm gonna say this, and this is the part that y'all not gonna like. Y'all not gonna like what I'm getting ready to say. And this is me. El Teddy may or may not agree because he don't know what I'm getting ready to say yet. But I'm saying this is me until I finish it, and he can tell you whether he agrees or not. But this is the part y'all really not gonna like what I'm getting ready to say. They have all day, evening,
You took the
weekend.
words right out. I know what you're about to say because I was just about to say that. Really, be we on the same page here. We on the
Okay,
same page.
to be a kid.
Yes,
Okay,
they do.
I have on a good day, I have an hour and a half to teach your child what they need to know for whatever it is that I'm teaching them, whether it's math, science, English, social studies, blah, 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 blah. They get out of school at 3 o'clock. They have from 3 o'clock to the next morning to do all of the things. They have their weekends to do all of the things. For me to justify allowing them to be off task and not provide instructional environment for them, that's bullshit.
And the other part really be is she said we work hard and we play harder. You should be teaching them that there's a time to work and a time to play, and the time to play is outside of working time. Because even as adults, I may say I work hard and play harder, but that play harder is not on the time during the time period where I'm damn it at work. That's just how that goes. And they have to learn that there are times you can't have it your way all day. You're gonna have to get on somebody's job. And even if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to set time for yourself where this is devoted to the business of what it is that I'm doing. And it's not always time to play.
That's a good one right there. W said, my spirit is telling me this guy knew what he was doing. He was doing it for clicks and views, and he did not care. I don't know, but I definitely think he's maximizing the exposure. I will say that. And let me say this, you guys, again, I am not sitting here on a pedestal. I have been teaching for a very long time. I am not getting ready to sit here and tell y'all no lies that we ain't never had downtime in my classroom. I'm not getting ready to sit here and say we've never played a game, or I've never let my kids be like, all right, y'all, we got about 10 minutes in class. I have finished my lesson. We did the things. Go on and chill out. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all I've never done that. I would be a liar, and that would be disingenuous. But let me tell you what I've never done. I have never justified it. If my administrator came to me and was like, what's going on here? I'd be like, you know what? We were done. That's on me. That's on me.
And the other part is really be, even if I might have even been not as harsh if when he put the original live stream and people were like, sir, this is inappropriate. And he was like, you know what? Damn, I just got a little I did too much there. And maybe he took it down and said, you know what? I shouldn't have did that, da 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 da. But this man started this video replaying the live stream, talking over it and doubling down and saying, let's stir the pot. Sir, you doubled down. You doubled down.
You doubled down on it, and now you're trying to justify it. You're trying to take this frame by frame, like even down to just making it connect to a science lesson. Boy, stop playing with me.
Because really, B, if you remember at the beginning of the video, he said he tried to make it like he was in a court of law. Let me represent myself, Your Honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, sir.
And that's how he ends it. He's going to end it like that too. Like, I've given my statement. You be the jury, whatever. We're almost done, and then we're going to drop the link and let you guys come up. But we're almost done going through this.
I'm fortunate enough to have students that feel safe and comfortable around me. Safe to come to me with their problems, their frustrations. They come to me seeking.
I just saw something that I never saw the first time. I guess he has a class pet, a lizard that he's
he was holding the lizard. I did see the lizard he was holding in his hands. It's a big lizard too.
While they doing his hair, he got the lizard and
and also while he was eating the orange. Don't forget the orange.
He got a lot going on. So let me tell you something else you're a liar about. You made it seem like, oh, it was the last 10 minutes of class. Sir, this was longer than 10 minutes. You ate a whole orange. They took your whole hair out. They combed it. They parted it. They put it in ponytails. Sir, this did not take 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody say. This was longer than 10 minutes. So either
You had time to get the little lizard out
right.
and
So
everything.
A, this carried over into after school, or B, this was longer than the last 10 minutes of class. Now, I don't
And
know
if
what
it carried over to after school, we got an even bigger issue.
Guidance and wisdom, or come to me simply to chill and hang out because they know that they have a safe space to be themselves.
or they come simply to me to chill and hang out. When, sir? When do they do that? When do they just come and chill and hang out with you, sir? Is that during school as well? Is that after school? Do you run an after school club or activity? Is it sanctioned by the school? Does the school know that those students are in your room? Do you have the door open when those students are in the room? Do you let administration, the office know who those kids are? Is there a start time and an end time? Do they miss their bus? Do they have a bus to catch? See, these are
There's a
things that
lot that
people who
goes
are
into
not in
that.
education don't understand.
They
Let
don't
me tell you
understand that.
something. I am no longer now, and here's the other thing too. Things are different. The world is different. When I first started teaching, there's a lot of things that I did and I was allowed to do that I can't do now and I would never do. Do you know that if I want to keep a student after school to tutor them, just to tutor, I have to, one, keep my door open, male or female teacher. I got to keep my door open. Two, I got to let the office know that that student is in my class, and they really say, don't be in there by yourself. So take them somewhere like the library. Where there's an open space where people can see you, where people can come in and out. Okay. So for all these people that keep making these excuses like there's nothing wrong, we don't live in that world anymore, because all it takes is for one student, whether it's a boy or a girl student, to say, Miss So-and-so did such and such. And they don't even have to say I did anything. All they got to say is it made them uncomfortable.
That's it.
I made them uncomfortable. Do you understand? There's a full explanation. A full investigation. If a student says so-and-so made me feel uncomfortable, they're going to say, well, did they touch you? No. What did they say? It was just the way they said it. Do you understand that now I have to go and I got to give a whole explanation about what I said and what I didn't say? How I said it? So again, you guys, I know it may sound like this is petty, but this is the world we live in today. And you know what? And they ain't gonna like this either, El Teddy. They not gonna like what I'm getting ready to say. Y'all created that world. And when I say y'all, I mean the parents who come down to the school ready to fight because they believe everything their child says. The parents who go to the school board ready to get everybody fired because their child had lied, or their child had said something happened that didn't happen, or they were late getting home from school and they lied about why they were late getting home from school. So now, in order for us to cover our ass, do you know
I just want you to play one part at the end of the video.
Okay, I'm gonna let it finish because I'm sorry, I got excited. I was about to go.
You got excited. You did. You got excited.
Let me keep going. I'm sorry. Right, keep me on track.
Those around me. What I strive to do as an educator is be the teacher I wish I had grown up. I strive to be the teacher that makes my inner child happy. Someone
that makes his inner child happy. I'm gonna let that keep
my inner child will be proud of. I want to be the teacher that my students reflect back on 20, 30 years down the line and think like, dang, that teacher I had in middle school, he was the shit. No further questions, Your Honor. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. You think this was inappropriate, or people are making something out of nothing? And although you are entitled to your opinion, all I ask is that you be respectful. Thank you.
So that was the end of that. Now, again, he did another video where he was upset and crying. And like I said, word is that he was actually fired. So El Teddy, go ahead and say what you're going to say. And then I'm going to go down the road I was getting ready to go down. But go ahead.
I think that...
Get ready to drop the link.
I think that naturally, I think we're making this too innocent. I think he absolutely knew what was going on. I think absolutely this is not the first time that this has happened. And I wholeheartedly believe that you are filming this so as to cover, you thought you were covering yourself. So it did look innocuous and benign. I really feel that way. And my thought is, if you have to cover yourself on this, then you're probably doing something you're not supposed to do. Let's be clear. Every teacher, we've always done some things that may go against or violate professional duties and responsibilities. That happens. I'm not, everybody's guilty of that. But what I will say is, when you know you're wrong and you gotta fess up. You don't double down, triple down, try to justify, try to garner sympathy. Because at this point, like the people are saying, it's just a click in the view for you at this point. Now you're setting up your career streaming, because that's what you're trying to do now.
I've dropped the link.
He needs to
Just
go
so you
sit on
guys
somebody's
know.
couch with his
I've
inner
dropped
child.
I've dropped the link. You guys are welcome to come up. And again, you can agree or disagree with us. That's fine. We have no problems with that. You do not have to show your face on camera, but I do have to verify backstage that you are a real person, and that you're not coming up to cause us no harm. With that being said, I was just going to go down this road, and again further just dig deeper into the fact that, do you know, as educators now, we are instructed to not even break up fights, wait for security. You know why? Because again, if I'm trying to break up a fight and my hand hits your child's breast, or my hand hits their butt, or my hand hits any
That's right.
private area, do you know that I can now be put under investigation? No, it doesn't matter that I was breaking up a fight. It doesn't matter that your child was the one fighting. Doesn't matter that I might have been saving your child from an ass whooping. But if
Don't
in the
matter.
midst of us doing that, do you know that if I walk past a bathroom, I'm not allowed to go in the bathroom? Doesn't matter what I think might be going on in that bathroom. Doesn't matter what I see or hear. I got to go get security. Or if I find another teacher. But again, you guys, we have created this environment. And so again, when we start talking about the appropriateness of it. Now, Tracy is an HR person, and she said that he is an HR nightmare. Tracy may or may not come up. If she can, I know sometimes she'll come up. Melly's here. Hey, girl. Hey, I see you. You can turn your camera off, boo, if you don't want to be on camera. Okay. Melly is, come on, boo. I'm glad you hit the link. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. Hey, Melly, boo.
Hey,
Hi, guys. Hi, educators.
Hey,
hey,
educator. I hope you had a good appreciation week last week, my love.
yes.
It was okay.
Girl,
Oh,
that's what I say
girl.
too. But go ahead, honey. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, just a little background. I am a administrator for pre-K through 8th grade,
Mhm.
um, in an urban district, and I'm a mom of a 19-year-old boy and a 11-year-old girl who goes to my school. So I actually had this incident a month ago with a teacher letting some girls take out her braids. Um,
Interesting.
and it's not the first time I've seen it. I've seen it across multiple schools. I took it as it's ghetto. But we are ghetto. Um, so my issue, I would never do it, but I really have a big issue of streaming it for everybody to see. We know
Mm,
as urban educators, there's a culture that we do need to gatekeep. It's not for everybody's consumption. So he was
mm.
absolutely wrong. He was absolutely unprofessional, and it does beg the question: why are you comfortable with little girls playing in your hair? Like I don't even understand that. Um, it's it's very worrisome for me. I know I would not want my daughter taking out her teacher's hair. And
Right.
also we know that middle school girls have crushes on their teachers.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes,
So
they
even
do.
if he doesn't feel that way, they would feel that way.
Yep.
And then
Mhm.
we crossing boundaries and we crossing lines. And middle schoolers need hard, strong
Hard.
boundaries.
Hard.
Yes, the same teacher who let the girls take her hair out, a month later, that same little girl cursed her out in the middle of the hallway
They don't know how to cross the back over the line
because you
when it
Exactly.
gets
crossed the
Because
blurry.
boundary. Now
right.
she
Because
thinks she's
again,
your equal.
when you don't set those boundaries, they do think you're their friend. And
Hmm.
the problem is when see the other thing too is, and I know this is going to sound petty as well. But when you allow kids to break rules, then what the message you sent is that the rule doesn't matter. So then 2 weeks later, when now you're enforcing a rule, now they don't understand because last week it was cool. Last week it didn't matter. The rule didn't matter. And now you're saying no, you can't do so. Yeah, now you're gonna get cussed out.
Yeah.
I don't know that particular
And
situation.
the students will tell, on you. They will say, "How you go? You can't have it both ways. How you go not tell me it was okay last week and now this week it's not?" They will let you know. The other part that you brought up, Mel Lee, that I wanted to say that I didn't say today was, even if he thought it was nothing, I guarantee you, the guy is a reasonably attractive young man. There's probably some little girls in there crushing on him, and I promise you, the little girls that was doing his hair went to probably one of the other little girls that like him and be like, Mr. So-and-so let me do his hair. And we was all in his hair. And that other girl probably got real. I'm telling you how middle school kids think. Anything they could do to get the upper hand on somebody.
They so messy. They so
Yep.
messy.
They are messy as hell.
Messy boots.
Hey, Angela. How you
Hello,
doing?
hello, beautiful people. How is everybody doing?
Hey, what you got to say, boo?
So I have a different perspective on this. I'm not a parent nor am I an educator. But I'm not stupid. So first and foremost, I can acknowledge that this is extremely unprofessional as per your job, as per what your job requirements and the layout of what your job is supposed to be. Now, as somebody who did not have or who didn't take advantage of the opportunities in terms of having somebody around, and more so because I didn't have somebody around who was more my speed. I was, Detroit hood, and I really didn't relate to any of that. There's a certain part of me that's like, man, I wish we had somebody like this in school. I wholeheartedly believe I probably would have came out earlier. I would have been less destructive in that process. I think that a situation like this, if he wants to do that and he seems genuinely heartfelt, like he cares about these kids like that, sir, go start an after school mentoring program. Don't do this on school time, because while you're on the clock, there are rules and regulations. It's like, anybody job, while you at your job, there are things you can and cannot do because they already laid it out for you. But there are avenues for him to be able to do this. And I think what he's doing is a good idea. Sir, go start an after school program. Go start a weekend kids mentoring program. If the kids' parents like you this much already, they're going to bring you to whatever little building that you rent out, whatever church building that you rent out, and you have this little mentoring program. I was in one in school. It was every second and fourth Saturdays down to the church. There are ways to do this. I applaud the idea. I do not applaud where you did it because you broke your job rules to do so.
And I can agree. I can go along with you on that, because I was going to say that as well. If you want to start a mentoring program, if you want to start an after school program, I still would caution him to maybe find a female teacher and to do it with. Because again,
Agreed.
You still don't, but if he had said, hey, this was my after school program, there were kids in the room doing all kinds of things. There were some kids that were, playing PS, whatever. There were some kids that were working on their STEM project. Like, I would have even probably been like, okay, he just don't need to stream it. But right. I still am stuck on, sir, you were on school time and you were streaming live on Instagram, and that is just not a problem. Do you understand that I would get in trouble for streaming a lesson live on Instagram during school?
Why would you stream something like that? Like, especially if it's something that's supposed to be about building for those kids, that should be personal with them. Why everybody else ain't got to see? I think this is one of the moments you shouldn't told nobody. This is something y'all should have did, and you should have helped them kids personally, and you should have left us out of it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's like you said, Mel Lee, for those of us who taught in the hood and at what they call hood schools in the hood around us, we understand that there are certain things that you may see at those schools that is cultural for us that you may not see at a school like this. You understand what I'm saying? And all of that, and it calls for that sometimes, but I think the problem was here you are streaming this, which certainly we are, those of us who are professional educators, streaming during class time, videotaping during class time, any type of video during class time is a no-no unless it's sanctioned. That's cut and dry real quick. And I think just leaving that part out, sir, you might still have a job today.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in grad school, one of the things I had to do was film a lesson, right? Anybody that goes to be nationally board certified, they have to film a lesson. Like these are things
Yep.
that we have to do. I know that administrators now they will come in with their iPads and they will film what's going on, right? But you have to get permission. One of the things when I had to film a lesson when I was in grad school, I had to when I turned in that video of my lesson, I also had to turn in permission slips for the parents that had signed off for the kids in that class.
Yep.
You
And
know,
those parents that didn't, I remember being national board certified, I had to send them to someone else's class
right, you had to send them
with
to
work
class.
to do because they couldn't be in the class while we were filming. Like it's that
Exactly.
serious.
Yeah, it is. And I want to say this too. And Melly, as an administrator, you walking down the hall and this is what you see. What's your reaction to that?
It's a hell no. Like
As a non-parent, it's a hell no.
even if I was okay with it, I couldn't publicly be okay with it. You done streamed
Right.
it to the world.
Right.
Yep.
So
Right. You put
at
me in a
this point, it
position.
doesn't even matter even if we sanction it. You cannot
He
stream
done
that to
threw
the
everybody
world.
under the bus. He done threw everybody under the bus,
Everybody.
Melly.
That was
He
their
said
only recourse
administration.
is to fire him.
He said administration know about it. He said the parents know about it. The other teacher let the kids go. Everybody done got thrown under the bus.
Everybody.
Right. You done brought another teacher
Everybody under the
into
bus.
it. Yeah,
You
because
brought the
let me tell you
administration team
something.
into it, Lord.
Right. Because let me tell you something. You have administrator come knocking on my door talking about, did you give permission?
That's
What?
right.
Even if I did, I'm gonna say no.
Okay,
I'm
Well,
not
you,
about to lose my job.
well, here's the thing.
yeah,
I keep it real with
exactly.
y'all. When I was in school, we had a teacher. He would let us come sit in his classroom. No, he wasn't playing in his hair. It was my computer teacher. He would let us sit in his classroom if we got out of our other classes or if we didn't want to be in our, if our stuff was together, he would let us sit in his classroom. So I'm not gonna act like this kind of stuff don't happen. We ain't never played in that man's hair, and he stayed at his desk and we stayed at our computers. So
But let me say this, and let me say this to everybody who doesn't work in the school. El Teddy, Melly, and myself, we know, the three of us know exactly what I'm getting ready to say. Every school got it. Every school has at least one of those teachers. Let's be clear. This is not what he's doing isn't new. But like Melly said, but you're streaming it to the world. Okay? Every school has that teacher, and again, and I know somebody earlier said, "Oh, well, it's a." When El Teddy was saying that male teachers have different rules, and somebody said, "Oh, well, that's a double standard." Okay, but it's a double standard that society set. I didn't. It is a double standard, but it's one that society set. Because again, let me tell you something. More times than not, and I'm not accusing this man of anything, but more times than not, those male teachers generally end up getting hemmed up. Whether it comes out to be true or not, they get hemmed up. They end up under investigation. They end up on administrative leave because again, all it takes is for one of those girls or boys to say something. And unfortunately, male teachers, especially Black male teachers, don't have the same amount of leeway.
Nope.
They do not have the same amount of leeway.
And there's a code. Every Black one, like when I go to a school, the Black male teachers, we all know each other. We talk to each other. Hey, we know the look fors, and that's just something that you just know, bro. Don't even get caught up in the mix like that. It's not even worth it. It's not. Yes, there's a double standard, unfortunately. And here's the deal. Here's the double standard. You know, when you stream or not stream, but search or query Google and look at the cases of teachers, inappropriate teacher-student relationship, it's overwhelmingly female teachers and getting in trouble with inappropriate stuff, not the male teachers, but still on the school site, the scrutiny is with the male teachers.
Right. And again, people can say, "Oh, it's a double standard. It's a double standard." You might
It
be
is.
right, but it's a fact. And I'm gonna speak for again, Melly. You can speak to this as well. And El Teddy, you know, on a different, you were on the administrative side on a different level. And then Tracy, you're in HR. Again, what we don't know about what's going on with this particular teacher, we don't know, because I said I don't think he needed to lose his job with this. I think he could have gotten some counseling, like had a, maybe a road, getting written up or whatever. But let me say this. We don't know if he has gone through those steps. We don't know what step he was in. He may have already been on his last leg for all we know. He may have already had counseling and somebody sat down with him. He may have already had a letter of reprimand in his. We don't know any of that information. So that is something else that, just because on the outside everything looked like it was all good, just because he told us that his administrator was cool with the social media, he said all of that.
He told us that they knew. He didn't say they was cool.
Right.
He said
We don't know
know.
what exactly. We don't know any of that to be true. Because again, let me tell you, let me tell you something. As somebody who has had to put people on teacher improvement plans, baby, let me tell you something. When people have it's just like anywhere else. When people have made up their mind that they know more than you know, and they know better than you know, and they know how to do it better than you ever did it, and you just old school and they know what they're doing, baby, let me tell you something. It is very hard to coach people who don't want to be coached. So we don't know where he was on that totem pole of reprimand. Little baby, go ahead, boo.
Okay, so I just wanted to iterate what the judge said in the Fonnie Willis case. There may have not been any impropriety to be found, but the optics of impropriety is there. And that's all you need. That's all you need.
You better say it again for the people in the back.
That is all you need. Because to El Teddy's point, there is this double standard. Men are looked at under a different microscope, at a different lens. If a child is crying, a man cannot console them and not be seen as predatory in that act as opposed to a woman. That's just the nature of it. And we have to not be so loosey-goosey with our viewpoints. I get it. In some instances, things are over-sexualized. But in other instances, you don't need to not never be too sure. Because it is the little things that allows the big things to seep through the cracks.
I have a perfect example. As we were sitting here, I was thinking Friday. So I am the school, I'm the person for the GSA at my school. Myself and another teacher. There's a male teacher who is the student sponsor. The teacher sponsor for the.
For those people, I'm sorry, really be GSA is Gay Straight Alliance.
Thank you. I was just about to ask.
Yeah, the Gay Straight Alliance. So it's myself and it's a male teacher, right? We are the whatever sponsors. I was walking down the hall yesterday I was on my way to go get my free lunch for teacher appreciation. And as I was walking down the hall, I saw him sitting in the hallway with his legs crossed. And at first I was like, why is he sitting in this hallway on the floor? And then I saw there was a female student sitting next to him, one of our members of the group. She was sitting on the floor crying. Now, mind you, they're in the middle of the hallway. So I kind of gave him the look, right? I kind of gave him the what's going on look. And he kind of hit me with the nod. And the girl was having a moment. But he could not take her in his classroom by himself. Do you understand? So they're sitting in the hallway while she's trying to talk to him about what she was dealing with in that moment, right? So of course we went and I was like, look, I can come in. What's going on? And we dealt with it from there. But when this is a student who is part of our our group, so she's dealing with some home issues. She's dealing with some identity issues, right? She's going through some things and had a moment. He didn't have time to say, wait a minute, stop. Wait a minute, hold on. He was like, look, let's talk. And he stopped in that moment and they sat there. And for as much privacy as he could muster until somebody came along that could help them. You see what I mean? And again, he understood being in here with the door closed with her crying and like little baby just said, me trying to console her might not be the best conversation because people walking by don't know that.
And really be something even as benign as I remember at one of my school sites, we had 3 stories, and one of our student with disabilities had to ride the elevators. It was a young lady, and there were several times, I was there, I had the elevator key. You know what I used to have to do? Send her up, either send her up by herself on the elevator because she knew how to use the elevator, or
Right.
let a female teacher. But because by no stretch of the imagination could I be on this elevator with this student by myself, whether she had disability, able bodied, or anything, by no stretch of the imagination.
And it would be
And that's
worse for
something
her,
that
and it's
benign.
worse for her having a disability. It's worse. God forbid a child with a disability say you took advantage of her. Oh my. Tracy, hey boo.
Hey, y'all in this little HR nightmare. He is I don't know if we want to say HR nightmare or HR wet dream. Because depending on how you want to look at it.
Oh, wow.
Because depending on how you want to look at it.
I
Yep.
guess it depends on your HR person at that point.
I mean, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
And also depending on how your company is set up. Because some of them are like, the more complaints that we can file against you, looks better for me.
That's true too.
And the more things that we can go ahead and tack up there, looks better for me. Because, I'm trying to protect the company. I don't really protect y'all. My bad. Because that's not my
we all
job.
know that's how HR works.
My job is to protect whatever company I'm handling.
Right.
Exactly.
So for me, when I was listening, I was like, I'm sorry. Did this adult just say, "Oh, all these minors are my friend"?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. I was
Best
like,
friends.
Yeah.
Best friends. His best friends.
oh. I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, oh, that's. I'm just gonna notate that one down. I was like, oh, absolutely not. I was like, did you say that you pulled someone from somewhere else to come do this during work hours that was non-work productive? I was like, oh, okay. Because you had your hair appointment right after you got out of work? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull people from instruction time, regardless of what they were or were not doing, regardless of what was or was not happening during that time. Makes no difference, because technically, from an HR standpoint, you are to work from, let's say, 7 to 3.
Bell
and
to
you
bell.
should be actively working from
My
7 to
office
3.
hours are.
The whole
Okay.
time. The whole
Bell
time.
to bell.
And you should have your lesson plan or your project
right.
plan set accordingly
Now,
to do
I have a-
what? Work
I have a quick
accordingly.
question, real
And
quick.
you know what's so funny? And just to chime in real quick, Tracy, and really be and Mel Lee will know what I'm about to say. You were taught for classroom management purposes to always plan for more time than you have. If you got an hour and a half, you plan for 2 hours because you're gonna have that student that's gonna finish early. You always plan for whatever you're doing to last beyond the bell. Because you don't got time to play. I always say, we don't have time to play around. Put your phone away. We don't have that type of time. Because if I see a child with their phone out, as an administrator, I'm looking like, well, what you got going on with your lesson plans? Because they shouldn't have time to be doing all of this. They should have work to do.
What were you gonna say, Angela?
I forgot the question. It's okay. It was a quick little
Sorry.
question. No, it's okay. We was all trying to get our little one too. Back to Tracy.
So for me, I'm just sitting here listening from the standpoint of, from a different headspace. I'm like, because to me, that's stealing time. Like that is a clear indicator of stealing company
You
time.
are stealing time. You doing your
You are,
hair. while-
you are
There's no way
clearly
around
just
it.
stealing company time.
No way around it.
Just flat out. Like I'm sorry. So as much as we want to say, oh, I don't, sexual, non-sexual, oh, is it appropriate, inappropriate? Technically, regardless of how you may personally feel about it, it's inappropriate. You're also doing non-work thing on work hours, which, you're doing personal things during work hours.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm about to write you up. Like, it's about to be real good.
Oh,
I'm about to go ahead and get this good little bonus real quick.
I remember my question. Now in the video, the one that I saw, or at least the one or two like clips, whatever. You see the brother literally just staring, like deadpan, staring straight forward, like nothing is happening around him. Is that him trying to say he's working on paperwork and stuff during these weird
He can't be
hangout?
petting the iguana and eating his orange.
He's probably, and he might be just monitoring the class while, as a teacher, you always got to be looking and monitoring the class. He might just be monitoring the class, making sure everything's okay.
Or he's trying to keep his hands visible and his eyes straight so nobody says that he's being inappropriate with a child.
See, that's that HR. That's that HR thinking.
Because let's be clear. You set the camera up prior to them doing your hair with a clear view of you and the people who were going to be around you so you could record during company time on company property. Doesn't seem like that was sanctioned, but okay, whatever. Because
non-company activities.
Listen, when I tell you recording at work is a great way to get fired, because I promise you, most of your company clauses, do not allow for you to personally record on company time.
I said that earlier.
On company property, because you're not at home just willy nilly. You ain't in your car. You on company property. That
Child,
but hey,
it ain't even about all that. Yeah, I work for one of the big three. We can't. I'm not even supposed to record. I work at home too. I'm not even supposed to record Snapchats while I'm on the clock.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
I work at home
because HR will look at the timestamp for when you did that. And say, wait a minute, you supposed to be,
Let me tell you something. So let me say this, El Teddy. If you want to go ahead and just whenever
I can push back a few minutes if you need me to.
No, because I'm gonna wrap it up, but I just didn't know if you want to go ahead and get started so you'll be ready. But no, that's fine because I'm gonna wrap it up. We can already wrap it up, you guys. But I want to say this and I think most people kind of see, even if you don't agree with what we're saying, I think most people kind of see the point we're making here. And again, I applaud anybody that wants to go into education. I do. I applaud people who want to try to do it differently and be innovative. I absolutely do. But when people are trying to explain why things are not a good idea or why things aren't the right way to move, I just feel like he's not receptive to hearing that. And I just want to leave this image with you guys as we get ready to wrap up. Let's just assume for a minute this wasn't a school. Let's just take the school out of it, take the kids out of it, take that out of it. I want you are walking into a car dealership. You want to buy a brand new Tesla. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there. You walk into the car dealership. There's nobody at the reception desk because you were like, well, dang, ain't nobody here to say, hey, how you doing? So you walk past the reception desk and you get to somebody's desk and they're sitting at their desk and it's a male employee, female, male, however you want to look at it. And there are 3 other employees that should be trying to sell you a damn Tesla standing there taking his hair out, her hair out. And they're partying, they playing, they laughing, they joking. If you take it out of the context of a school, I want you to now ask yourself, if you were a consumer and you walked into a place of business and that is what you walked into seeing, would you still feel like that was appropriate? I mean, I'm just wondering.
Really be. I could take you even old school because we remember some of those old school administrators. I promise you, and this is not, and we don't have to deal with this a lot today, but I promise you, the old school administrators, you're not taking your hair down as a male teacher, and you're not gonna have your hair out. Talk about you got ponytails walking in this school with some of them old administrators like that. Talk about, wait a minute, you taking your hair out in the middle and you're gonna walk around this school building? This school like that? No, you're not, sir.
I wish I would have ever showed up for work with my hair in braids and left with my hair in a ponytail. I wish to hell.
Listen, the way they would have said, you go ahead and go home. Yeah, you go ahead and go. Go ahead. Go home.
To hell that I ever would have thought about walking in with my hair in braids and walking out with my hair in a ponytail, baby.
Some of them old administrators will tell you.
I guess I went to ratchet school in Detroit because
some of them old
remember a teacher doing that.
Some of them old administrators will tell you, and we're talking about old school administrators. They'll tell you, I can't tell you how long to wear your hair, but I promise you, it better be professional every time you walk in this building. Don't come in here with. Don't, you really be. You know I ain't lying. You know how them old principals was. They ain't play that foolishness. Please.
Melly, I'm gonna go around and give everybody a final word. You guys, thank y'all for being here. Let me say this before I go around and give everybody a final word. If you are enjoying this conversation and you are not subscribed to the Teacher Project 2.0, hey,
Please subscribe.
Right, these are the kind of conversations we have all the time. So the
All
link
the
is
time.
pinned at the top. So if you guys would subscribe and go check out go check out some of our past shows. Somebody said that me and El Teddy have good chemistry most of the time.
I was real tame today. You know, really be. Sometimes I get on my soapbox and I just I
No,
just be
on
going
the
off.
Teacher Project, we do have great chemistry.
We
It's
do.
when you get back to your house that you act a fool.
It's when you're on your platform
Oh,
that you get crazy and throw me
See, look,
off
here we
the
go.
screen and stop.
See, now
There
we
we
get ready to
go.
get off track.
And there we are.
Melly, as a fellow educator and someone who's been in various roles, what's your final word, my love?
I think this is a reflection of the Gen Z,
Mm.
because they have never lived in a world before
Yep.
social media. They literally video record themselves doing crimes. Like,
Yep.
there is no boundaries.
That's
They think
true.
everything belongs on social media. He could have gotten dealt with, and nobody probably wouldn't even known if he did not stream that.
That's
Right? Like, he
true.
Yep.
could have been put
Yep.
on a performance plan if somebody seen it, if a parent report. Like, he would not have gotten fired. Just everything just does not belong on social media.
Right. Him going viral is what lost him his job. Let's be clear.
Yep.
So somebody said we didn't Cahoots, not somebody. Cahoots said we didn't cover his waterless tear follow up. I don't care to.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't
I'm
care.
sorry.
Yeah,
No
we
one
I
don't
didn't
care.
cared.
I mean, because I felt like that was just more excuses, and now he's reading letters from students that support him. Sir, that's not your problem. Your problem isn't that your students like you. Your problem is that you don't understand that you're the adult in the room. That's the problem.
The problem is he don't understand he needs to get off social media. Like,
Go ahead, Angela. Since you're talking, go on to your final word, my
gotcha.
love.
So I think for me, what I'm noticing is the real conflict, if you will, when it comes to opinions and this. I feel like a lot of people are a little divided, right? We appreciate what he's doing for the students, and if he's creating these moments, we love that, but we got to do it in a professional way that is still in accordance with the job you have. And I feel like that's where, even for me, that's where like my divide is coming in, because I acknowledge that I love what you're doing, but you need to not do that at your job because your job tells you can't do that. So, it like Tracy said, if you're going to get the job, you got to follow the rules that the job come with, point blank, period. And he did not. So now he has no job.
Right. And again, you can be the cool teacher and not cross boundaries. I'm sorry. Like, I don't understand why people don't think you can't be both. The teacher I was just telling you guys about, the teacher that I work with that is my partner with on the GSA. This is a guy who identifies as bisexual. The kids know he identifies as bisexual. Hell, his wife used to work at the school with us. That's a whole nother conversation. He colors his hair different colors. He has pink hair and green hair and blue hair. He's even let the kids paint his nails. Like, those are not the problems, you guys. The being the guy that people feel comfortable going to and talking to and opening up to, that's not the problem. I don't want anybody to walk away thinking that we feel like that's the problem. So you're right, Angela. You can be the quote unquote cool teacher and still have your boundaries. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all. Okay, little baby, and then Lord, we're gonna let Tracy round us out, child.
I know the sexual nature really wasn't touched on it, but I am gonna speak to it. We do need to know when to not over sexualize things. But again, in some situations, we can never be too careful. It's always the little stuff that we see as harmless and innocent. And before you know it, your child's teacher is on the 10 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news with a mugshot because they had an inappropriate relationship going on the whole entire time. And you had no idea. You thought those gestures were just them being nice. You thought it was just being innocent. Because typically, for people who don't understand the psychology of child predators, they have minds like children. They don't think they're they're adults. They think they are children. So in some instances, you can't never be too sure. So yeah, let's put some boundaries in place so everyone knows what the decorum is. And then also, he's a whole stunt queen. He knew what he was doing. He knew it was wrong. He knew it was inappropriate. He's looking
Come
for
on,
more
stunt
attention.
queen.
I ain't heard stunt queen in a minute. Period.
A whole stunt queen. And he's living off of this attention. He's eating it up. He's gobbling it up. He knows what he's doing.
He's gonna be a TikTok creator in the morning.
He already is. He's already a TikTok. Like he already has like 15,000 subscribers or something. Like he was already on a social media. Like he had a social media presence. And like I said, you lost your job, but if his platforms are monetized, hell, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
And I want to also say this. I don't know how anyone else's YouTube feed has been set up lately, but more and more and more on mine, for whatever reason, I am seeing more teachers, specifically female teachers, have been getting arrested for having inappropriate relationships with children.
Well, they have.
So
it's been like that since the beginning of time, though.
That is true, but now it's really starting to become a thing now.
Because they all posted it on social media.
The double standard, to El Teddy's point, those women, because it was with the male, they're not going to be viewed as harshly as a male would if it was with a female.
That's true. All right, Tracy, finish us out, ma'am.
So I will say this. If y'all are ever wondering or, questioning if you should or should not, most companies have a handbook, and there's normally in there a professional code of conduct. And those are all the reasons that I get to, write y'all up or, hand you your pink slip. So if you're ever questioning, should I, could I, would I, is this a fireable offense? Will I be able to keep my job? You might just want to scroll through there real quick. Just scroll through there real quick.
Cover a few pages.
Real quick. I mean, just come through there. Just a lot of times, you can do a Control F. You can go ahead, search it up in there. I tell y'all right now that you do not understand.
Control F.
Look, you can Control F, and I promise you, a lot of companies, especially now, are updating their handbooks to include like social media. And posting on social media during work hours. They are including these things in here in the updated handbooks. Just because, when they're looking for a reason to get rid of you, they're like, ooh, I think this might be one of them. There are so many times where I scroll through people's social medias, and I'm literally looking for a date and timestamp for when you guys are doing these lives, when you guys are doing these things, because you know why? Because they are ready to get rid of you, and some of them need a reason. There's other places that are at will states that don't really need a reason.
Hey, Michigan.
You might want to make sure you're a part of a union to get yourself some coverage or protection.
And that's why I said I knew that he didn't work at a public school, because they wouldn't have been able to fire him like that. That's why when I wasn't surprised that it was a charter school. But El Teddy will tell you there are times when I'm off work and we want to do the teacher project, and I'm like, well, we got to wait till at least 3:30. Even though I'm like I'm home, like we might have a professional development day or something, and I'm already home. I'll be like, nah, we gotta wait till 3:30. Even though I'm sitting in my living room. When we were working from home during the pandemic, I mean, I made sure that I wasn't on the clock. So. And I know schools are doing the same thing. When I was an administrator, I know that was one of the things that I did when I was an administrator. We worked on updating the school handbook to include social media for students, as far as bullying and things like that. So I know it's there for us, child. I know it's there for us.
So, if you were ever just questioning, you were wondering, because people's personal feelings about things don't really matter to us in HR. It's very black and white. It's very much simply, is this a part of the code of conduct? Is this appropriate? Does this look appropriate? Does it appear because appearance is what really matters. Like, does
Right.
this appear to be that you are a good representation of the company? That's really what we look at. That's really where it is. So now that he's doing his, crocodile tears, oh, I got fired, put on administrative leave, I ain't got no job nowhere in America tour. Sir, you did that to yourself. You are where you want to be, which is, now a content creator. So you should be happy. I guess it's interfering with your content because you don't really have students to post at school anymore. You might want to tell prior teacher stories.
Wow.
You might want to be like one of the content creators that goes and tells like the past stories. Like I remember this one time when I was working at school,
Help us, Lord.
and someone took my hair down, and then I got fired. I
just
mean,
knew she was gonna find some way to get up
You
under
know
that
Tracy.
man.
You know Tracy.
I mean, I'm just trying to help you out. Content creation sounds like a great thing for you because
You ain't got no
apparently
content.
you couldn't manage, doing your job during work
Y'all are
hours
horrible.
and doing your content creation after hours. But hey, either way.
And with that being said, El Teddy got to get to his house. He late.
I'm late
Y'all
for
meet us
study
over at El
Saturday.
Teddy's house. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for everybody that came up on the platform. I appreciate you all's contributions as always. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And hold on, y'all. We're gonna head right on over to El Teddy's. You're gonna be zapped right on over.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye.